Hiya Greg, lovely to meet up with you the other day and spend the day working on your game. Hopefully you got as much out of the session as I did. It was great to work with someone like yourself, open-minded, committed and keen to learn more. So I've left these follow-through, if you will, comparisons up from the start of your session on the top left towards the end of your session with your irons on the bottom right. And the reason I've left these up for now is because it sort of shows you the changes that you've made and the end result. At the end of the day, the follow through is the result largely of the swing that you've just made. You can cheat sometimes and disguise things, but overall, in the context of what we worked on, which was learning to extend and tuck under, and we talked about it being from the floor up, and also controlling the rate at which we rotate through. If we look at the top left, we can see that the right shoulder's come through very much and chased after the ball, if you will. The right heel is up, and there's some knee flex maintained in that right knee. So we've got, if you will, the upper body angled forward slightly. Jumper's disguising it, but still a little bit of flex held in the pelvis, bit of flex held in the left knee. Bit of flex being maintained in the right knee, and quite a lot of flex in the right ankle. So there's a lot of flexing forward going on there, and largely because we're rotating through very, very hard. We'll come to the key points in the recap shortly. The first attempt at tucking under, we can see what's happened here is we give the impression that we've tucked under, but actually what we have done is translated back with the upper axis. Still maintain the flex in the right knee. If anything, we've increased it a little bit, and also the flex in the right ankle. Now that's going to put a lot of strain on your back, and that's not what we want to do. So what we did was we did a little drill here where we started to hit the brakes a little bit quicker, keeping the arms nice and straight. In order for the arms to stay on the rib cage and stop quick, the lower body has to work a little bit differently. So we're starting to see now that the right heel's not popping up as much. The right leg flex is starting to diminish. The upper body is chasing after it a little bit less. And towards the end of your session, this was you on a full-ish shot. We haven't made one final change yet. And that's now upper body, if you will, angled backwards, stretching off the spine. Flexing the pelvis has been diminished. Flexing the right knee is less, and the flex in the right ankle is less. So whilst there isn't that sort of maximum tucked look, there's certainly more of the right stuff in there. That's going to put less strain on your back and also help control your golf ball. Over here on the bottom right, and this is because of that right foot, we've changed that right foot. I know I said to you, I keep nagging you about that right foot. That right foot has to be turned out sufficiently to control the amount at which you can rotate through and therefore flex forward. When you do that, the flex in the right ankle, the right leg, the pelvis and the left knee starts to diminish much, much more. And in regards to the lower body, that gives you a much better look through the hitting area. Obviously we're working on the straight arms drill to control the rate of closure and control the amount that the arms lift off the rib cage in the through swing. But overall, a marked difference in the way everything looks from the start of your session to the end of your session. Now, in order for you to achieve that, the key pieces were as follows. Let's get rid of those lines for us. And I'm going to start over here. First thing, essential, right foot must be turned out at least as much as the left. So right foot turned out at least 20 degrees like we see here. That's the sort of foot flare I'd like to see with yourself when we meet again. So much better positioning of the feet. If you compare that to where you were at the start of your session, you understand the effects of that, so I'm not going to linger on that. We discussed that on the day. You know what the effects of that are for you, and that's the key thing. And we just take you back down to set up. So we're starting from the beginning. Right foot turned out enough. Right foot turned out, gets the right knee turned out, frees up the hip sockets, makes the setup look much more dynamic and ready. So that was the first point. Next point was that we were maintaining our forward bend and drifting off the golf ball, as you'll see when we come to your driver recap shortly. What we needed you to do was feel like the weight was increasing into the left leg from P1 to P4. And you can see that's not actually the case. The feel may be that it's increasing, but in actuality you're just staying nice and centered on the way back. This helped create much better side bend in the pelvis and kept you much more stacked on top of the golf ball, controlling what was happening with both the angle of attack and the direction of your swing when you did that. So feeling like the weight was increasing into the left leg during the backswing was another key thought. Then we had to get this tucking in, and really we just started to work on some drills where we limited the length of the backswing and we felt the hips tuck under. And one of the key thoughts for you was to rotate through the ball less. So this is not necessarily all about tucking the hips and sliding the hips. For you, it's also about controlling the rate at which you rotate through. And we used 5 as a unit. It was an irrelevant unit, but it helped you get a visual on it. During the downswing, you want to feel like your hips, once you've transitioned and you get to P5, you need to feel that the hips are going to turn at 5, slide at 5, and extend at 5. Now, unfortunately, no matter how hard you're trying to slide and tuck those hips, if your hips are turning at 10, which is very similar to what we see here at the start, you're never going to have that tucked look in your downswing. So there's way too much turning of the body and the hips at that point. So you flex forward. There's way too much emphasis there on rotation. And what we want to see is more what we saw towards the end of your session, with the right foot turned out. Super backswing on this one. Got that left shoulder working down beautifully there. Lots of good stuff in that now. Really, really good. And then from there now, control the rate at which we rotate through, rather than rotating through hard and chasing after the golf ball with that right shoulder. And that's going to give you that more tucked look. You can see on the ping side behind, as a comparison between top left and bottom left, how much more stable the head has been. The hips have moved forward the same amount, but the upper body has moved forward less. So consequently, if we just get rid of all the lines on there now, and beg your pardon, and put a line in on centre of the shoulders to centre of the hips, centre of the shoulders to centre of the hips, so there's more extension of the spine and more of a tucked appearance in the follow through, where the lower body has worked under rather than the upper body working out in front. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Obviously you've got the key notes sent across on email to you. Like I said, it was great to see you both, meet your nice way, your lovely wife, Heike, and get to know you a little bit more. Good luck with it. As I said, if there's any questions that you want to email me about, feel free to do so, and I'm just going to tag on another recap for you in regards to your driver swing and the changes that you need to make with that. Well done.